Hey, what's good, internet? Welcome to my channel and welcome to my weekly design training where I make design look easy. Yeah, design is actually easy. The reason why most creatives find it difficult to achieve successful design projects is because they don't understand these three things. Number one is the understanding of the problem that they are asked to solve. Number two is the lack of understanding the principles of design. The number three is the being afraid to have fun. I have a design I received during the week from a designer. I'm going to share what is working and what is not working in the design. I'm going to use it to create my version of the artwork. And I'm going to share my process on how I achieve successful design projects. I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy this tutorial. So let's start. This project here is not successful. The composition is dull. And what really affected the success of this design is the making everything big. All right. It's the making everything call attention at the same time. I'm talking of the way we have the title. All right. Where we have this, and also the way, we have this in the project. This is not really okay. Whenever you're working on design project, all right, understand that your job as a creative is to arrange the elements in a sequential form. The way things appear to you in real life, that's the same way you're supposed to place elements in your project. I know so many of us understand that whenever we see anything that is close to us, it comes out big. Anything that is far from us will come smaller. So as a creative, that's the same way you are supposed to place elements in your project. And the other thing I noticed that did not really fly correctly here is the placing of the focus, making the focus small. I know so many of us know that we are storytellers. We use the element of design to communicate to the viewers. Our lack of not focusing on the message, our lack of not making the message clear can destroy the success of our design. These items we have here, all right, are the focus. So these are supposed to be bigger than this. All right. Then the other thing I noticed that the designer did not do well is the part of not giving room for space. White space is very important. The reason why you need white space in your project is to make the content breathe. Whenever you work on design project and you don't give room for white space, you are choking the element in the design, and this can affect the success of your project. And lastly, before I get to the recreating of this, I need to let you all know that whenever you are putting together your elements, know your job is to entertain the viewers. The element of design are the best tools to use to entertain the viewers. Every element have when to use them and how to use them. So I'm going to use what I share with you guys now to quickly recreate this project, and I'm going to share my process with you. So the first thing I'm going to do before putting together the element is to create a new document. Now I'm going to make use of the Instagram portrait frame because I'm sure this is a social media project. So I already have the frame here, which is 1080 by 1350. That's the Instagram portrait frame size. And I'm going to call this poster. Now, the reason why I'm using this frame here is because before starting this training, I made this image. I'm talking of the trophy. Let me see if I can make this smaller so you guys can see. Okay, so the trophy, so this trophy here is big with too many elements on it. All right, and we really need to make this visible. So me making this big in the project with the information I have in the project is what inspired the use of this portrait frame. All right. Because whenever you're asked to work on design project, it's always best to check the elements you're using in the project. The elements in the project is what mostly uh, inspire the frame that you're using in the project. Okay. So I'm going to make my resolution 72 because this is a social media design and color mode is going to be on RGB. All right, so I'm going to select the create button now. So what I'm going to do is I always like to start with my background. So I'm going to show you guys how I create a background here. So I have this image that I downloaded from Google. So I'm going to make this big like so. Don't worry, I'll share why I use this image. So I'm going to position this somewhere here like that. And I'll make a copy of this. I always like to make a copy of the image. Then I'll go to filter and I'm going to select filter gallery here. All right. And I'm going to zoom out. So I'm going to use Control and minus to zoom out. Okay. And I'm going to make sure I'm on the paint daubs filter. All right. And I'm going to make my brush size 22. Sharpness is going to be 7. And I'm going to say okay. Then the next thing I'm going to do is we need to fill this side of the frame. So what I'm going to do is to create a new layer and just call this layer brush. Then I'm going to select the brush tool. This should be behind this. Okay, let's position it here. Pick the color from the image. Now watch where I'm picking my color here. All right, if I pick this, it's going to be too dark. And you know, like I always say to you guys, nothing is 100% black. Okay, so I'm going to just pick from this side here and no, let's pick from here. Say okay. So I'm going to hold on Alt and hit the backspace to fill the background with the color on my foreground here. So I'm going to add the layer mask to the image that we just drag and drop now, and I'm going to click on the button right here. So I'm going to turn this off. All right, I don't need the pen pressure to be active. For the sake of those of you that don't have a graphics tablet, I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to make my flow here. Let's make it 25. So the whole idea here is for us to be able to control the strength of our brush. So I'm going to make my brush size this big, and I'm going to make sure that my foreground here is set to black. So I use this icon here to toggle between the colors. All right, so I'm going to go to black here and watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to apply my brush to the image. I think my flow here is too small, so I'll make this 38. So just going to apply that like so. Now the reason why I decided to use this image is this. You know, the artwork is talking about graduation. All right, it's talking about graduation. It's talking about the selling of content or elements that are mostly used in graduation events. When you hear the word graduation, you know what discipline means is celebration. And whenever you're working on design project that you really want to show that celebration message in the project, bright colors like multiple colors are always best for this. Now, there are times where you don't even need multiple colors background for the project. There are times where you need just white, all right, as your background color. But the reason why I can't use white in this project, you guys are going to see that soon. Turn down the opacity of this a bit. All right, I'm going to turn down the opacity a bit. There's one other thing I think I'm supposed to do here because I need the details on the background to be more stronger. So I'll go to filter here and say sharpen and say on sharp mask. So I really want to see texture on the image. So I'll say okay, and I'll go again and apply the on sharp mask. Now you can see that we have this texture on the background, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. So yeah, remember to turn down the opacity. And now the reason why I'm making this move here, the reason why I'm making my opacity this low is because your background needs to serve as your background. How you depict something that is far from you in graphic design, or how you really show that background effect in your project is by making that background not take too much attention in the project. So that's why I'm going to dial this down like that so as to make this not too visible. So I'll make a copy of this. For this, I would like to create a rhythm. All right. So how I'm going to create rhythm here is I'll right click, which is also part of the principles of design. I'm going to right click and rotate this. So what I'll do is I'll rotate it this way. Sorry, I'm supposed to make this is it 90-degree and mirror, flip horizontal, and move this here. All right, good. So for this, all right, so the reading here is going to be, I'm going to reduce the opacity more. I'm going to create a new layer and call this layer noise. Okay, because I really want to give my project that texture. I'm talking of the background. I don't want my background to look this flat. So what I'll do is to click on the color picker here and make this gray. So I'll hit 80, 80, 80, 80 like that and hit the OK button. Then I'll fill this layer with the on my foreground here by holding on Alt and backspace. And I'll go to filter and say noise and say add noise. Let's make it 20. Let's make it 20. So I'm going to select the OK button and change my blend mode here to soft lights. Then we can now turn down the opacity of this a bit. So the reason why I did this is because of the texture from the noise. Then the next thing I'm going to do, because the color is looking dull now, this project has something to do with gradation. So we need to make the color pop. So I'm going to move this up like that to really call out that color. All right. So I'm going to increase the saturation like that. So I clicked on the hue saturation from the adjustment tab. So if you don't have your adjustment tab, simply go to Windows and say adjustment here. Okay, yeah, it's making sense now. So then I'm going to put everything here in a group. So I'm going to hit shift select. I'm going to shift select the layers and hit Control and G. Then I'm going to call this BG like that. So let's start placing our images. So I already have them here. Yeah, so I'm going to start with this. So I'll drag this and drop here. So what I'll do is I'm seeing this white uh lines around the image, so we need to take that out. So I'll select the layer mask of the image, then I'll go to filter and say order and say minimum. All right, then I'm going to select the OK button, right click on the layer and say convert to smart object. So why I decided to convert the image to a smart object or the layer to a smart object is because I know I'm going to be playing with the scale. So in order for me not to lose the quality of the image, it's best to convert the image to a smart object. All right, so let's start bringing in our other elements. So I have them already placed here on a new document. So I'm going to drag this and drop here. Okay. Now watch this, guys. And this plaque is what really inspired the background I use on the project. If you look at the plaque here, you'll notice that you can hardly tell if the plaque is transparent, and you can hardly see the information on the plaque, which is one of the reasons why I said your image is what mostly shape the layout of your project. These are all the things you need to check whenever you're placing images in your design. Remember, contrast is very important. So I need to place this on a background that will project what I have or the content I have on the image. So I'm going to drag this and drop here. So I'm going to position this somewhere here for now on this and drop here. We can move this here. All right. So let's make it look like this is about to drop. All right. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'm going to shift select the elements. All right. And activate free transform. Then I'm going to scale this down. All right. I want everything to be well placed. This is not the only element or image that you can place your elements on. All right. The reason why I'm using rock in this project is to give that unexpected move that people don't really see coming. All right. Because so many people are used to seeing images on tables or on a wood or on the floor. All right, so I'm going to position this right here now. And as you can see, the project is still looking too flat. And the reason why it's looking too flat is because the colors on our images here are not looking pop. Remember, I told you it's a gradation project, so the color need to give life. All right, they need to have that, interesting look. So let's start doing some color grading here. So I'm going to hide everything here first, and I'm going to start with this. So what's going to inspire the color I'm going to apply to this rock here is this color that I have here on my background. Now, see, guys, you can always apply colors from the background to the rock. All right, you can pick any color of your choice. But for me, I want to have this. So what I'm going to do is, and that's why I always say to you guys that graphic design is about you having fun. Just play. So what I'm doing now is I'm playing. So I'm going to select the color balance adjustment here, and I'm going to say I only want this to affect the rock. So let's just call this rock. Okay. So I'll go to the color balance, and I'm going to start with the midtone. So I'm going to move this out. So I want to give this that orange color. So I'm going to move, let's say orange brown. Yeah, let's just say brown. Yeah. So I'm going to move this to this side and move this forward a bit like that. And let's go to shadows, and I'm going to make the same move and forward. Good. So because I'm placing my image on this, all right, I need to reduce the brightness of this a bit. Okay, because yeah, this is not really the focus, so it shouldn't be too bright. And you see, please guys, take note of all the things I'm sharing with you guys in this video. These are things you need to check out. Whatever you know is not really important in your project or is less important in your project should not take attention. So yeah, so this should not be too bright. So I'm going to add a clip here and move this down and move this down. Now, do not make it too dark, because the texture on the image is also part of what's going to make the contrast work, because whatever we're going to place on this image here now is not going to have this type of texture. All right. And you know, the meaning of contrast is the difference between two things. So what if we place anything that does not have this texture on it, it will help the contrast well in the project. All right, please take note of this. Okay, so I'm going to make this visible. No, let's start with the trophy. Good. So now you see for the trophy, okay, yeah, the reason why I didn't really make the background too busy, yes, is because of the trophy. You know, I told you guys that whenever you have images you're using in your project, take note of the image. All right, check if the image is loaded with too many elements. So because of all these elements I have on this image, all right, I'm not going to make that's the reason why I decided not to make the background too busy, so that these elements will be visible and it won't make the project look too busy. Okay, so right now the color, the gold color on the trophy is not really looking unique. It's not really looking shiny to me. So I'm going to make that pop by activating color balance. Now I'm going to select the clip icon. Then I'm going to move this here. So this is how you mix gold, all right, with color balance in Photoshop. So I'll move this forward and move this forward like that. Then I'll go under shadow. I'll make the same move this forward and move this forward a bit. No, let's just move this here. Here is the before and this is the after. But as it is right now, this is affecting this here. So we need to find a way to take it out from. Actually, I don't know what this is called, but if you know it, just know it. So I'm going to select the lasso tool here now, and I'm going to draw a lasso shape. Please, if this is making sense to you, can I see you drop a like? All right. If you're having fun watching me do what I'm doing now, I will appreciate if you can drop a like. So then I'm going to apply my foreground to the layer mask. So make sure your cursor is on the layer mask of the color balance when making this move I'm about to make now. So I'm going to hold on Alt and backspace to bring back the blue color. And I'm going to hold on Control spacebar and zoom out with my mouse dragged on the screen. And I'm going to hit Control D to take away the marquee and see how beautiful this is. So for this, all right, we need to make the same move here. So what I'll do is I'm just going to draw a lasso selection there. All right. And this time I'm going to hold on Alt again and hit the backspace. All right. But for this, all right, I hate the fact I'm seeing this bluish, purplish color on that part of the image. So what I'll do is I'm going to activate hue saturation, clip icon there. Then I can still draw. Sorry. I'm going to draw like that. And hold on Alt and backspace. All right. To apply the color to the layer mask and hit Control D. Now, the next thing you now need to do is to hit Control and I to invert the mask. All right. So why I'm making this move here now is because I only want my effect to affect this. So I'm going to desaturate the image like that. All right. Yeah, because like I said, whatever you know is less important have should not take attention. All right. So I'm gonna move this down a bit like that. And if I zoom out now, whoo, this is what we have. The next image visible. So for this, all right, what I'm just gonna do to this is I'm gonna add curve to this. And the reason why I'm adding curve to this is because I'm looking at the value of the brightness on this wood and the rock. So right now, this is looking too bright. Okay, yeah, the wood is looking too bright. So what I'll do is I'm going to add soft curve to this. So I'm going to select the clip icon and I'm going to move this down like that. And the next thing I'm going to do is to go to my blend mode option here and select luminosity. So why I selected luminosity is because I don't want Photoshop to oversaturate the color for me. All right. Yeah. I still want to maintain the color on the wood, but apply the curve. Certificate visible. All right. And the certificate can move in a bit like that. Good. Because, yeah, when you're placing elements on a surface, there's the part of telling story with it. All right. So the story I'm about to tell here is, see, these elements are placed on this rock. They are not floating. So when there's no shadow, it will look like they are floating. So now let's spot where our light is coming from. So my light is going to come from here. So it means my shadow should go the opposite side of my light. Okay. So yeah. So I'm going to create a new layer and call this shadow. All right. Then I'm going to zoom in. Then make this black. All right. Or don't make it black. Let's just pick from here, this brown color from here, and change our blend mode here to multiply. Now, the reason why I picked the brown color from the rock is because I still want to maintain that shadow color on the rock. All right. In order to make unity, balance in the project. All right. Unity is also part of the principles of design. Okay. So I'm going to make my brush a bit bigger. Let's see if we're on the soft round brush build. There's something I was supposed to do. I'm supposed to make this flat and make this a bit bigger. All right. We should go back to 80 or let's say 75. So I'm going to apply this here. Okay. So there's a problem. So we are supposed to place this here. Now you see we've been over applying the shadow. So I'm going to take the shadow out by selecting the shadow and hit backspace on my keyboard. So we're going to start again. So I'll go to my brush tool and no, sorry, should be this. So I'm going to make this. I'm picking this because I'm using my graphics tablets. Okay, yeah, this is better. All right, so I'm going to apply this here. Gonna keep applying it till I'm okay with the strength of the shadow. All right, so this is better. So I'll come here and make the same move, shadow. So because I want to make it look like, yeah, this pushed out a bit, so the shadow should come down. All right, then I want to see the texture on the rock on my shadow. So I'm going to double click on the layer to activate the layer style from here, like that. So I'm going to hold on Alt and split the slider to smooth the effects like that. And I'm going to select the OK button. Then for this, right, that's for the plaque, we need to apply shadow to it. So what I'll do is I'm going to create a new layer and call this shadow. All right. And hold on Alt and click this to the layer. So I hold on Alt and place my mouse in between the two layers and I click to clip the layer inside the background, inside the plaque layer. So I'm going to select the brush tool, sample a color from here, change my blend mode here to multiply. Then I'm going to make this a bit darker, right? Should be a bit darker. There. Select the OK button. Now I need to go back to my soft round brush to look normal. All right. Then we can now softly apply this here. I think I still need to make this a bit darker. So what inspired the shadow we're applying to this is because of this paper we have close to it. So I'm going to apply my shadow here. We'll just make it a bit bigger. So, but the shadow you're going to apply to this will be very light. It shouldn't be too heavy, because if you make it too heavy, you're going to make it look like that element is very, very close to it, like is resting on it. All right. So the softer your shadow, the distance the element is to the surface. The harder the shadow, the closer the element is to the surface. I hope somebody get that. Okay, so I'm going to select the eraser tool. I need to take this out from here like that. So now if I zoom out here, this is looking more like it. So let's see the before and after. This is the before and this is the after. For the certificates, I'll create a new layer again. I'll call this shadow and clip this like that. Gonna clip this. And so then we're going to sample the color from here and change the blend mode here to multiply. Then I'll go straight to my color picker here and make this a bit darker and select the OK button there, change my blend mode here to multiply. All right, so let's apply that brush now. So I'm going to, no, let's make this 10. So I'm going to apply that here like that, or let's still make it 30. All right, that is fine. So I'm going to apply the brush and I'm going to make the same move here. So what I'll do is I'm going to activate levels with Control L. I really want my shadow to be visible, so I'm going to move this down a bit to really make the shadow more visible like that. So I'm going to select the OK button. So now if I zoom out, see, this is looking more real. Okay, so we get calls a lot from people who are looking for to go into design but can't afford to pay for design school. And because of this, we decided to start a foundation where we can be a blessing to these people. Now, we have so many things we're looking at putting in place so we can meet our goals. And this is where we need people like you to support us with your donations. So if you have any amount you want to support us with, kindly make use of the account details on the screen. No amount is too small, no amount is too big. Kindly give whatever you have. Any amount that comes from you will be surely appreciated. And for those of you who have been supporting us with your donations, thank you so much for doing this. Then the next thing I will do is to add pop to this. Select the clip icon again and move this down. And change the blend mode to luminosity, and I'm going to hit Control I to, and I'm going to scale down my brush. All right, make sure this is, select the brush tool, make sure this is set to white and just apply this here. can just move this here like so. Then what we can do again is to create a new layer, move this down here, turn this off, then pick this color from here with Alt, then make this visible and make this go 17. So I'm just going to softly apply the brush there. And yeah, I think that's fine. I think I over applied that there. So I'm going to switch to white. Switch to black, excuse me, on the layer mask of the curve and softly take it out from here. And I'll put everything here in a group. So I'll shift select the layers and hit Ctrl G and call this. So I already have the content typed. So I'm going to quickly put everything together now in the project. So I'm going to start with the title. So I'm going to copy that. And the character, the type I'm going to use here is going to be Gotham. And the reason why I'm using Gotham is because it's a sans serif character and is mostly used or is good for corporate projects. Okay, so I'm going to activate Control A like that to select the text, and I'm going to close the space between the rows. All right, please, if it's making sense to you, please drop a message. Let me know what you guys think about what I'm doing. Okay, if it's making sense and I see every one of you drop a message, I so much appreciate your message. Okay, so I'm going to move this out like that. Now, the reason why we can easily see our information now is because our background is dark. All right, and that's part of what really helped the contrast here balance. Okay, so I'm going to move this to not too white and not too dark like that. Okay, so I'm going to select the OK button. Then what I'll do is I'll like creating drama with my title, which is also part of how you can make your project look dynamic. So I'm going to move this up like that to really make that information there visible. So I'm going to select the OK button. All right. After achieving the title, there's this level of hierarchy in your project that you must make available, which is the next thing you want people to see in the project. All right. And that's the reason why I decided to make this get 10% discount looking this fine and attractive. All right. So because I don't want to have too many hierarchy in the project, all right, I don't want to have too many things calling for attention. I'm going to place the next important or the next, because every element in the project is important. So I'm going to paste, no, sorry, I should be on this. So I'm going to place another information that I believe is also going to spice up this project here. Now, the reason why this is going to be successful is because it's closer to the get 10% discount. So because this move I'm about to make now are close to each other, people are going to read them together. All right. And that's where proximity comes in. Proximity is also part of the principles of design, which is the grouping of your elements. So elements that are close to each other, they see them like they belong together. All right. I hope somebody get that. So I'm going to make this smaller like so. Let's see the before and after. So this is the before and this is the after. All right. I'm sure you enjoyed my process and I'm sure you've learned one or two things in this tutorial. Now let's be a blessing to other creatives. Kindly share this video with other designers. And if you love the video, give it a thumbs up. If there's anything you want to share with me, drop it in the comment section of this video. And guys, if you have not subscribed, remember to hit the subscribe button and remember to click the post notification bell so you get notified when I post my tutorials. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.